become? Can't you see it in my face? A demon living in disguise, but you can see the killer in my eyes. I've got a look you can't escape. You can't escape. No one understood the world that I was making. Look me in the face and tell me I was making. Maybe I'm a little young, but you don't know what I become. Can't you see it in my face? A demon living in disguise, but you can see the killer in my eyes. I've got a look you can't escape.
Is there like a stream debating right now?
What you think about
Oh, what the
when you're
fuck?
born into a fire? Let them burn it out. Sell them to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay.
How's everybody doing? Wait for some more people to
Tell
hop
us
in.
lies and fade
Get started
away,
in a hot
fade
minute.
away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it
Shout out to
anyway.
Mod Makari, who added so much to the thread on this. We'll probably go over most of the WoW stuff today.
Beat the odds, beat the big house.
This will be
Brains are bigger than the doubt. We've been
This will be
thinking for
interesting.
ourselves, never let the truth fade away. This is bigger than ourselves. We won't let the world burn away. Burn away. We feel betrayed. We
Is somebody watching me on double speed? Julia. I don't want to mispronounce your name. Unfortunately. Listen, I've been seeing a lot of Lewis McClung coverage. I just want to say that I was there first. And I'd like some recognition for my hard labor of sitting in front of a fucking computer screen. Good evening, chat. How are we doing today? Are we don't give Diesel credit. We'll see. I do have a scheduled talk with Lewis tomorrow. I have seen the Dream video and I have comments on it, of course. We're not going to be talking about that today because I feel like I've done enough of that. But again, you know, Lewis will have his. There will be those 20 minutes, okay? How are you doing? Not good. Listen to the Tubbo call. Dude, MC Twit really needs to be like gotten rid of. It's just like K-pop Twitter, okay? Fauci received over $50, so now he has to make a McRib from scratch. Dude, he's just gonna go through the window and steam some hams, okay? He's gonna literally just have Aurora Borealis over there, okay? What's happening? Oh, I need to turn on my chat. Hold on. Boom. No, I'd say it's about the same, but like imagine if K-pop Twitter decided to like the K-pop stars got involved in like complaints. You know, like they got involved in it. Diesel has the Boblax leaks as his wallpaper. That's why he was so excited to sit in front of his computer. Yeah, I said this on a members stream with Beckett, but only in commentary could all these guys look at a visually masculine presenting person with their cock out and go, who would post such a thing on OnlyFans? And then also say, I'm not gay. This is a disgusting penis that I'm seeing. I'm looking at this penis. I don't like any of what I'm seeing right here. Look at this penis, everybody. Look at this penis. Not gay. It's actually a gawk. You know, that might not be a slur yet, but I'm gonna say that we induct that into the Hall of Slurs. I'm not a PC Andy, but I think that needs to be put in there. The G slur, cock and balls. But see, people are like, oh, Diesel came in and he's talking about peeing. No. The thing is that commentary will be like, gay, not me.
Just got here, pause bruh.
Hey, I haven't put on my headphones, you know, I'm listening to Diesel on the speakers, you know. This way it sucks at goodbyes. I didn't say bye to the ladies appropriately, but goodbye. I know I just left the VC that you were in, but yeah, it's just I find it really funny, you know. And by the way, I also don't really have a problem with Bo Blacks doing OnlyFans. I feel like some of the people are kind of pearl clutching about it and being like, "Oh my god, OnlyFans." The only reason it's like funny and it's only like a passing joke worthy is like Bo Blacks would be previously was very not like pro sex work. And now he's putting out porn, you know? And it's like obviously if like fucking Tipster did it, he would have been all over making fun of Tipster, right? So what's funny is like a matter of like glass houses, right? You know, because it's definitely a reap what you sow type thing. But like I can't imagine like because there were some people that made like fucking 1 billion hour streams on it. I'm like, I didn't know there was that much information to glean. I'll tell you this right now, and this is like a professional. Let me give you some professional critique. Penis pics look really scary without proper lighting. Okay. All right. Also, get a Brazilian. All right. But like a penis pic looks really scary when it's like hard lighting and just like
shots. Lamar.
Let's be real. We know he's not the one giving the back shots. He's the one receiving it. Bo Black's doing a X-rated Twitter versus backshots versus. On today's video, today we're gonna be talking about me taking this cock in my ass. So I tweeted out that I would take a BBC in my ass. And he's doing like that loud yelling Bo Black's voice. That's crazy. Don't act like you wouldn't participate to his OnlyFans. That was another thing I said on the members stream. I said I don't have a sex tape yet, but I would do a sex tape. And let me just clarify, I would be doing a sex tape with a cisgendered woman because I am a heterosexual male. But yeah. Can you only become a member on desktop? I have no idea. But let's talk about pirate software because that's what we're here for today. We're not here for how bimbo blacks the bimbofication of Bo Blacks. These are more original than some of the ones I've seen, okay? Right? Because you know how many times I've heard the blows blacks jokes? Like, that's, like, after a while, it's just like, we don't need any more of that shit. It's just the same thing over and over. Okay? But, yeah, so today we're talking about pirate software, right? And I was pretty unfamiliar with a lot of this guy's lore. Pirate software actually has a humongous backlog of history. Of course, as somebody mentioned, there's a KF thread on him. And I went through it. I've viewed the thread, so I really don't. By the way, I don't really give a shit if fucking the guy is a furry. I don't care. Just like I don't care about Bo Black's doing the fucking like OF stuff. I don't give a shit if he was a furry or if his persona was a ferret. I don't have a fucking problem with that. I don't know why you would, but I understand why there are people on the internet that do. I think it's very pearl clutching and it's really soy, but whatever. Go ahead, do you. But we'll get to the furry stuff because it does play a role in some things that are actually like reasonable to talk about. Like the furry stuff doesn't exist in like a fucking vacuum. It's not just like, oh, he was a furry, therefore cringe. It's more like he was a furry. He made a bunch of money off of furries in the furry community, and he also like hired a minor to work in his business to do furry stuff, which, you know, there's a whole bunch of stuff around that. But again, we'll get to that. This all started with something really stupid, and I think because it was really stupid that a lot. Yeah, that's another thing. I don't know why he's embarrassed about it being brought up. He's very clearly a furry. And I always assumed he was kind of a furry because, like, sometimes you just get that vibe. Like, I've hung around furries before, and I know he worked in cybersecurity. So cybersecurity is like a, you know, it's kind of like a flag for, like, that person's probably a furry. But then, like, there are reasons, right? Like, some of his stuff with his, like, his dono thing with the dog gives furry. That's just, like, I don't know how to explain it. But sometimes you just look at someone and you're like, I think you might be I think you're a furry. He does have the YMS phenotype. Yeah. Like there's a little bit of that there. And it's not just about having like long hair. It's just like an attitude. I don't know how to like, I wish I could pinpoint it, but yeah. He would fail to draw a dog test. The closet was open. He closed the closet because he's worried about it, right? Furries are super nice guys that I've met. People like that. When you find something that makes you happy, you just own it and fuck everyone else's opinions on it. I mean, yeah, that's really the gist of it for me, like, right? But yeah, I don't know. I'm 100%. I don't even know why it's not part of his brand anyway. But Anyway, so this all started because of OnlyFangs. OnlyFangs is a WoW guild of content creators that are making World of Warcraft content on a WoW hardcore server. So for those of you that don't know or are unfamiliar, I'm going to break it down for you like this. This is basically where a bunch of creators get together and they participate in this guild, and it's all like a content thing, right? And the guild is on a hardcore server, which means when your character dies, right? That means there's no coming back, there's no respawns, you're dead forever, right? So it's a pretty big deal to have a character die in WoW hardcore. It fucks you up, right? But if any of you have played WoW, unless you're like an absolute fucking moron, it's really hard to die. The times where I have died in WoW is where I've very clearly overextended or clearly participated in content that I shouldn't have been participating in, or I didn't prepare, right? Me personally, I played WoW between vanilla and I think a little bit up to Lich King, and then I stopped. And then I didn't play MMOs for a really long time. And then I got back into it with Final Fantasy Online, and I played that. And now I'm kind of like back on WoW. I'm like doing a video essay about MMOs right now for myself. So if you're a member, you'll get access to that when it comes out. But yeah, so that's my experience with WoW. I'm a pretty decent player. On Final Fantasy, I play a tank, and then on WoW, I play a DPS because it has the lowest amount of responsibility usually. But I am familiar with how all of the games are played. I did do a little bit of Guild Wars 2, right? Like in that gap, I tried out other MMOs, you know, the WoW killer era. But I didn't really like stick with anything consistently. The reason that this is a problem is that, again, when you die in WoW hardcore, you die forever. So when you go into a dungeon, you need a few things. You need to know how to use your class, you need to be decently optimal, and you need to make sure you bring consumables so that way you don't end up in a situation where you have no way of regaining health or mana. So those things will help a lot. Preparation is really important, and WoW actually, the community really wants you to be prepared for content. So much so when I go to play content in WoW, if I don't have the right gear, even though I'm farming for gear, I get kicked because I don't have the correct gear. But it's like,
Mercury
bro, I'm here to get the
celebrates
gear.
11 months of membership. I thought OnlyFangs was vampires. I'm disappointed.
You know, that's what I thought too. You know, I honestly like the name. But yeah, so that's what OnlyFangs is. Pirate Software as well has touted himself as a video game industry's expert. He's one of a few people who's become like an online creator after spending time working at Blizzard. I gotta be honest, a lot of these guys are kind of like not really what they say they are.
Don't forget he cries when you bring up that he is a nepo baby and his self-made man act crumples.
Yeah. There's all of that. There's all of that as well. There's a lot there that needs to be discussed. But again, I only found out about this because of this insanely ridiculous moment in WoW, right? Now, I don't think you need to be a professional player to understand this. So, you know, Kat, who's part of the D&D streams, Kat, how the fuck have you never told me this? They just released the Space Goat Heritage armor. I'll reinstall it, we can level. Dude, I've been playing Plunderstorm. It's really good. I am so ready. Install it. But yeah, so that's Pirate Software, like you're seeing in chat. He's a nepo baby. His dad worked at Blizzard. That's how he ended up getting a job. So let me tell you something. So when I was in college, I spent 2 years working in like game design and stuff like that. And something that struck me, there were two fields or two companies that you really wanted to work for. I was in college pre the Bill Cosby room. So a lot of my peers in class wanted to work at Blizzard, right? And then during our time there, the Bill Cosby room stuff happened, and we were all like, we don't want to work there. We'd never end up being there, but that's like the dream if you're like a developer, right? At the time, because everybody was like, they're amazing. They're the people to work for. And then it became Riot, and we all know how Riot is. Riot's the League of Legends guys, the Valorant guys. And we're like, turns out they also treat their employees like ass too. And then we learned that the entire game industry is made up of underworked or overworked and underpaid contract workers that are let go from every job they work from. Yeah, spoiler, every company is like these companies, yeah. But yeah, it's the crunch culture, right? There's a lot of interesting stuff with WoW, but most of the time, all these fuckers you see talking about how they're gaming professionals who worked at Blizzard, every single one of these guys I've seen who talks about it is like some fucking grifter, okay? Grums, who worked at Blizzard. Pirate Software, worked at Blizzard. There's an art YouTuber, his name is Mark Burnett. He also said that he worked at Blizzard. But he has like art, so it's very easy to see what work he did. It's kind of hard to show someone what it means when you're like a coder, right? But yeah, I'm going to play the clip of what happens in this. So they're running a dungeon called Dire Maul. I don't know if any of you are familiar with that dungeon, but yes. So this is the spark that ignited this fire with Pirate Software, right? But Pirate Software is playing a caster, and you know, they're backing away from some mobs they pulled because they overextended, and basically he could have provided support to his frontliners in this fight as they were backing off the mob they were pulling, right? So what it means to pull a mob is like there's a radius where the computer will notice your character and the NPC will come at and attack your character up until a certain point, right? So when you get in that radius, that's called you're pulling them towards you, right? Like a fishing line. And as a caster, your job is to stay back and provide support or deal damage from a distance to that character, right? So Pirate, that's him right there. And then he has some other homies up here, and they're fighting the mobs.
Boss is coming too, watch out.
Yeah. Well, I got shield wall. God damn it.
Run.
Just run. Can you target dummy?
I can target him, yeah. Should I do it?
Just kill the massive. Yeah, target dummy. Kill the massives.
No.
Aussie, are you fine?
Any
grenades, anything?
You can
Heal
just
him.
Yeah, you just heal me. Just come back a little bit.
Boss is on me, sitting bear form.
So again, I was just talking about this with a longtime WoW player. So I want see how he cast an AoE on that mob. Here's why that was a very bad decision. Right? The mob, no, it wasn't that he was caught cheating. He literally, so imagine you spend 12 hours making a character, and then because one of your friends was a fucking moron, you had to delete it. That's literally what happened. Okay? But as they're running back, honestly, all of this could have been avoided if he had just said that he at least had he was a chicken. Yeah, that, right? So here's why this is stupid. When you cast an AoE spell, it provides damage or something in like it's hard to see because this is like a 240p clip. But it looks like he's casting a damage spell that's AoE on a mob that's moving. Right? If it's AoE, it's going to be in a circle. What happens when something is moving through a circle? It will leave that circle. Okay? So when he casted an AoE, that was a ineffective way to do damage. Okay? That was an ineffective way to do damage, and that was an ineffective way to provide support for his team. He literally just burned mana. That was it. Like, he 100% just burned mana and did nothing. All right? He might as well have not casted a spell. All right? Stream keeps freezing. I know why. The Epic Games launcher wanted to update Fortnite. That's why. I will close Fork Knife. The Fork Knife launcher. There we go. Right? So this was just like a really stupid thing to do. There was no reason to do this, and if he was going to do anything, that was the thing he shouldn't have done, right? And so after he cast that...
See, are you fine?
Any
grenades, anything?
Just look at what he does.
You can just
Heal him.
Yeah, you just heal me. Just come back a little bit.
Muscles on me, sitting bear form.
Snuppy, just run.
I can help a lot. Yep.
Pirate, why are you walking, bro?
What are you talking about? Why am I walking? Look
This
at
is
my mana.
savageable. Come
Innervate
on,
you?
man.
Just kill the mastiffs.
Innervate.
Use
The healer.
Nova, bro.
Kill the
Come on.
mastiffs. We got
Heals.
this. In the sense of
War something.
Do you see my mana? What am I supposed to do for you?
just kill the mastiffs. One shot. Okay, we
More
pulled
on
another
the way.
pass.
More on the
Run
way.
now.
So, yeah. He literally let them die. You can see him just fuck off and run away. By the distance he's gotten to, he's already lost aggro. And yeah, it's like he casted max rank, aka lots of stamina instead of rank 1, which could still slow. But yeah. And then after that, there was a discussion about what happened when they were running Dire Maul.
Let me say it again.
He already said his piece.
Pirate.
Go on.
Oh,
Yeah,
dear
I
God.
want to speak to him because I didn't speak to him correctly. I said it again. We all did mistakes, bro. Like I didn't say, we are just blaming you. It's about the zero accountability is what makes us so mad.
There's no zero
You see the
accountability, dude. Everyone can do something better.
you-
But when you open up and
No,
you yell over another
no,
person
listen,
like you
can
were doing
I
earlier,
speak?
Nah, I'm good.
You
See ya.
Okay. So the reason he was talking to Pirate Software like that is because Pirate Software didn't want to admit that any of it was his fault, okay? And then after the guy asks to speak, Pirate just fucks off and leaves, okay? Right? So he was just acting like an asshole. He was really just acting like an asshole and performing poorly in the game. Or, like somebody said, he could have been doing it deliberately to fuck over the people because he was tired of their bullshit, right? And it was just that. Could have been that. Either way, that's what happened, all right? Now, obviously, LSF got a hold of this. Everybody got a hold of this. And I gotta be honest, I don't think Asmund is that very good at WoW. Being minimum at WoW, being okay at WoW to do content is actually really easy. The problem is that, like, all of the people playing the game have been playing so long, so nobody will help you learn how to do it. And so the skill ceiling for WoW goes like this. It goes from, like, flat floor to straight line up and then back to a flat floor. Okay? But if you can get from here to here, it's you can play the game fucking high or drunk, okay? So like it's not like a difficult game. It's just that there's like the barrier to figuring it out is that nobody is willing to help you in the game and everybody is an asshole. All right? Now, I hope the clip with Pirate was pretty much very easily discernible why it was a very bad, why it was just a bad play, okay? As a gamer, why it was a bad play. But Asmund Dick Rider.
Snuppy. He got the first Frostbolt because he had aggro. because you choked. Not only did you not follow through with running out, you stood in the wrong place, you choked and randomly jumped away for no reason, you aggroed a third pack, and you caused not only yourself, but also your healer to die because you couldn't even hold aggro while you were running out.
I don't play WoW, so I don't know what any of this means. That's why I'm trying to explain it in like baby terms, so that way we can all understand, right? But I will agree that the party clearly didn't seem prepared or well organized. Okay, but it's the not taking any accountability that's an issue. Okay. This is a baby term breakdown. Right?
Let's watch it again. We're going to watch it in slow motion. So where's Sarah? Well, Sarah's back there getting attacked. Why is Sarah getting attacked? Because the tank decided to aggro other mobs. And Sarah had to stop and heal to keep Snuppy up. Sarah sacrificed themselves.
Like
Sorry, actually you guys can't see that. Sarah sacrificed themselves in order to make sure that...
Question, didn't the leaders of the guild character die and he gave the guild to Tyler 1, who's a brand new player? I know they dueled for it recently. Were there stakes to this game? So the stakes is like time that you put in, really, right? Like the gist of it is like, again, imagine if you spent 12 hours building a character and then because somebody else was stupid, you lost your character, right? And really the entire party overextended and pulled too many mobs, right? But then as a caster, he just didn't perform what he was supposed to do. That could have mitigated the amount of deaths, right? It's a permadeath. If you die, you're dead, right? It's like hardcore Minecraft. Imagine if when you lost at Minecraft, you lost everything, including the world.
Ozzy, if Sarah had not healed Ozzy, Ozzy would be dead.
Another LSF clip has hit the pirate towers. Dude, they're coming in fast. I'm told that I'm being attacked by Pirate Software's gang. And that's why my stream was freezing. I don't think that's the case. Okay, so I missed some of this, but if there is an aggro drop, it would bump to the healer, but the tanks always get blamed, and it feels like the DPS was overpulling. Well, if there was a pull, then it should have gone to the DPS, because the DPS would have been generating more aggro than the healer. Unless the healer was providing damage on a mob. But here's another clip of Pirate basically being a... Apparently Pirate has a problem where he like is just a dick to people in MMOs, dude. No, healer aggro is a thing, and heals will net you aggro. Okay, okay. So is this just him like sitting and mogging somebody in a chat right now? Healing generates aggro if the person is being targeted, the mob will switch to you. Okay. Yeah, DPS spams, tanks get aggro, healer does their best. What I experienced playing Final Fantasy. Yeah, I will say this, Final Fantasy players do a really, really good job explaining to new players what to do. I've had bad experiences, but I've had much less than WoW. It's been very frustrating getting back into WoW after a really long break because everybody's so fucking annoying and there's no way to fucking learn. I don't raid much, mostly. Yeah. I didn't raid much, mostly Mythics. Clip broke. Here's the mirror. Okay.
The lightning ball pulled. I cast lightning ball before that Oculus appeared, and half the raid was in the back because they pulled the wrong pack. I'm not at fault there. I'm correct there for doing that. 100%. No. Absolutely not at fault there. When I cast the lightning ball, nothing else was there but the targets I was hitting, and the tank had pulled a completely incorrect pack from behind our raid, guys. That is not on me.
No. Pyre patronizes his raid members after wiping for 10 minutes straight. Receives proof he was in fact at fault. Instantly defects responsibility for his actions. Oh, I saw this clip too. This clip was actually kind of like super shitty. But he's such a passive aggressive, like, he's honestly kind of girly pop the way he was being passive aggressive.
You basically have to evocate to get your mana back.
Is this what it's like for normal people when us weebs talk anime? I'm trying so hard to explain this for a normal person. Okay? It's like, literally, it's like if, like again, imagine if you were working on a project and 12 hours of work vanished. Okay? 12 hours of work vanish because somebody else was being stupid. But honestly, looking at the clip from the other perspective, they definitely all did pull too far ahead. All right, but that doesn't mean that Pirate also didn't perform poorly in that scenario either. Outside of this drama, stuff like this, yeah. So you all play roles in WoW, right? So you all have a specific role when you get into a dungeon, which is a place that challenges your skill at the game, right? So the reason that you don't get people that do like tanking or healing, which are two roles that require a lot of responsibility, is because other people in dungeons don't have a lot of responsibility. And they, regardless of how stupid they are, will always will always throw that responsibility onto you, even if they're at fault, right?
For the next pull.
But yeah, the problem with the Roach Gate clip is that Pirate, right, was being, instead of like, now, in my opinion, I think the correct thing would have been to do a party wipe, right? I know it's hardcore, but they were all gonna die anyway. But it would be more honorable to go down with them, right? And again, also he didn't play the class optimally. And then also, why didn't he pop any consumables when he dropped aggro to gain any mana? It's just yeah, he just needed to say my bad. Literally all he needed to do was go my bad. And it would have been over. Like literally, all he needed to do was go, my bad, right? If you do something stupid in a video game and you mess up, you go, my bad, and then just move on. But yeah, here's a guy, he's a streamer, new player at WoW. He's playing a caster, and then Pirate is gonna give a comment on it. So wait, this is because a gamer is doing typical gamer things? Well, that's where it started, right? Okay. Pirate Software is a representative for gamers because he's a big gaming streamer and he talks about etiquette of gaming and being somebody that worked on World of Warcraft. He presents himself as a World of Warcraft expert, okay?
Reminded me, sorry, I don't play the game, so
How disorganized these streamers are on a hardcore 4-man dungeon is insane. This is why I don't play hardcore, but then also, yes.
Forget. If you remind me, I can help you real quick.
Yeah, it's too bad I'm the only mage in the party. You're right, Jen. If only someone else would cast Arcane. If only.
So he's being passive aggressive. He was like, if only I wasn't the only mage. And like there is another mage, but he's like, I'm new.
Can't really keep wishing for things that just aren't here, though.
That's true. That's true. Can't wish for the rogue. Can't wish for another mage to cast Arcane in.
Yeah.
Brother, may I have some oats? Oh, since we have 2 mages, we could probably poly the ads.
Wait, we have 2 mages. Oh, man.
Yeah, I can poly.
Here I've been the only one casting Arcane in. Incredible.
Oh, that's crazy.
It's wild, right?
So yeah, he's just being like a passive aggressive bitch about it, right? The proper thing to do in this scenario,
You basically have to evocate to get your mana back for the next pull.
right? And if we're talking about appropriate gamer etiquette, right? And I play a lot of Valorant, right? A lot of Valorant. And when you play Valorant comp, you can't get in like a very like that kind of mindset costs you games, right? If you're playing a competitive game and you come in with that kind of vibe and you're dogging on another one of your teammates for that behavior, you're gonna lose, right? Because you're gonna immediately set the mental off. Okay, like this is a dungeon where everybody can get fucked up. Okay, you need to have good mental and good communication. Okay.
Reminded me. Sorry, I don't play the game, so I forget.
See, remind me. I don't play the game. I'm sorry, I forget. So he straight up asked. He's like, I don't know how to play. Can you please tell me? And then he's just continually passive aggressive. How hard is it to be like, hey, do you have such and such? Now would be a time to use it. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. By taught Hal means bullied. But no, like Hal really did like get it into my head that when you are playing games like this where the stakes are high, that you got to have the correct mentality. You can't just be rude to people. You can't be like a loud screaming asshole, you know? Wait, is the new guy in a hardcore game? Well, the reason he's in a hardcore game is because he's a creator, right? They just brought a bunch of creators in. Some people are new to WoW. Some people play a lot of WoW. But the point is, you know, you come in, you bring a good vibe to it. You be supportive. Yeah, being toxic will push towards a wipe. Yeah. Yeah.
Snuppy wants.
And then the guy, like, Asmund also, Asmund dogs on this guy on stream, and then the guy asks to come on to discuss it.
To talk? Okay. Well, I speed run that. Unbind spacebar. Turn your monitor on. Conversation's over. I'm not going to talk to some moron that doesn't know how to pay attention to aggroing other mobs.
I can't. This drama is so fucking stupid. That is the most fucking incel sentence I've ever heard in my life.
I don't want to debate with you about this. I can watch the fucking screen. I played the game for 20 years.
Okay, see, this is the problem. I'm sorry. You don't need to be really good at WoW to play WoW for 20 years. You could literally go through this game half asleep and get through most of the content. It is easier now than ever to play retail, okay, with your eyes fucking closed, okay? Okay? I don't know what to tell you. It's really that, like, the only reason that WoW is difficult is because people like that Don't explain what anything does. Okay? That's what makes it difficult to play WoW. Is that the community is not that great.
You fucked up. It's obvious that you fucked up. I'm not going to sit here and listen to you try to fucking do mental gymnastics about why it's not your fault.
Diesel is going to join me on an RP retail server. You know, honestly, he agreed in DMs. People don't even do like RP servers. The only time I've ever seen RP servers is like Final Fantasy. But then everybody's like goon maxing, okay? Oh, correction. Yamato, the guy who made Pirate Software leave call, asked to speak with Asmon on stream, not Snuppy. After Asmon refused, Yamato closed his stream with this.
Yeah, your fault. Move on. Fuck you! Fuck you, bastard! And fuck us, Mongol! Fucking Baldy! Nice, he's jealous I have hair, isn't he? He's jealous I have hair and he doesn't. Fucking freak. Of course he is.
Oh my god.
The craziest thing.
WoW streamer who hold on. WoW streamer who was a part of the raid, Amphi, puts the blame on the ego of Pirate Software.
The craziest thing is that Pirate is supposed to be this voice of a person who's played WoW a really long time, who knows everything, and when it comes down to it, he fucking panicked like a roach and did nothing for his group. Disgusting. And then he doesn't go back on it. He acts like it's the right decision. Fuck that, dude. Holy shit, ego. At least accept that you did the wrong thing and you killed your friends.
But this ended up setting off a series of events that were absolutely autism maxing. I don't know of another way to explain it, right? So this was like, in my opinion, guild infighting. I know, welcome back 2008. Welcome back 2008. Guild infighting is back, this time with audience participation.
How you deal with all the ridiculous comments?
By the way, Mizkif recently put out a video talking about how he won his lawsuit when, like, the last time that I saw, which was like literally 2 weeks ago, and I'm almost certain his lawsuits are still open. It's just that he's agreed to, like, they've all agreed to not sue each other. The people on the OTK side, so Adriana Lee, Crazy Slick, all those people. So they've all agreed to non-suit clauses. But I do believe the stuff with Adriana Lee is still ongoing. So I don't know what he said. Like, he was so vague with what he said, it's hard to specify. And I've been looking for the legal documents regarding his case. But as far as I know, it's still open. And his comments about it being closed are kind of overblown.
Dude, it's wild. Like, I think we've banned about 2,500 people so far, and we're just reporting it all up because it's...
So Pirate's explaining how they've banned a lot of people that have came in.
It's like 99% of it is just people showing up and copy-pasting something from Reddit, you know, basic
Well,
shit.
no, I get how it is. I get how it is. There's wanting to have criticism and hating, and then they go beyond.
Yeah, I think it's the same thing Sequisha.
Dude, dude, what is it with streamers and like absolutely losing their mind at LSF posting a clip of them being like stupid?
Dealt with when like the Gurubashi Arena stuff, it was the same shit where like 20,000 people jump in his channel and just smash him.
See, people, like, if it is Reddit attacking him, fine, ban him. Yeah, I agree. But then also, it's like, Pirate would also be getting rid of just genuine criticism, right? And he has a habit of that. He has a history of that.
You know, so I'm not really surprised.
Yeah, or like when I got accused of like cheating, or like when I got accused for like dying a lot. It's just like it's always just dumb things that didn't happen.
All right, here's Pirate's side of the story.
A lot of the hate just kind of landed on me because Mage is seen as being able to do anything at any time, and I was told to run by our shot caller.
Yes, that's another thing he's doing. Pirate is also like doing the my daddy works at Blizzard thing and like flagging people.
I ran from our shot caller, did a couple of things in there, and made the decision not to.
Yeah, so okay, about his sex escapades, I'm gonna bounce all over the place. I'm kind of tired. Pirate has, I will be charitable and say that these are allegations, but there is discussion online about him going to furry swinger parties, and that these furry swinger parties are the reason for his first divorce. None of those words are in the Bible. You're not immune to Hatsune Miku cosplay, Arton. I see.
But would you say would you say looking back at it like you could have done more?
Of course, yeah, I could always do more. But the thing is was the risk worth it? In that case, probably not for me, right? Because like we had already, if you saw the run before that, did you actually see the run that happened before we even did that run?
Why, where you guys almost died?
Yeah, the whole group almost wiped on that one. Same group. We were in Dire Maul. They wanted to skip the second boss, and we went up a ramp and pulled that boss in a bunch of different packs and all this shit. And we had to bail out, and everybody had to drop group to escape, and we almost didn't make it. And then the same group goes back in. They do this weird route.
So if you are running with a group like that, why didn't you guys have like a discussion? Did you guys have like a discussion to be like, listen, what the fuck went wrong there? Like if it's a big guild and I'm running group content with that guild and we almost die, I'll be like, all right, guys, like that was too much. I think I'm done running this tonight. Like, why did you go back and run another dungeon? I wouldn't run another dungeon on a hardcore if like my group almost died. I'd go get a different group. Nobody's saying that you have to do it with that group only. And then if you're desperate, you could just do an LFG.
To escape, and we almost didn't make it. And then the same group goes back in. They do this weird route.
Yeah, I think the voice changing allegations are a bit goofy. Those I don't agree with, because there are other creators and people that I've seen that happen to where their voice gets deeper over time. Northern Lion is a streamer where I've seen that happen to him, and it like got deeper in his like mid-30s. So
the scuffed pull of 2 packs and
no, Mama Max definitely was faking it, but they say Pirate Software is faking his deep voice.
Boss. And I'm at 40% mana when they pulled. And I'm like, dude, like, what the hell are you doing? Like, it's the same shit over again. So of course you're not gonna have confidence in the team's calls at that point.
And you wanted them to die.
Why were you gonna run it again then, dude? Why, if you weren't confident that your team could handle group content that requires a level of skill, why are you running group with them? Go get other players to run the group with.
Shit over again. So of course you're not gonna have confidence in the team's calls at that point.
And you wanted them to die.
No.
You're sick of them. You're tired of it. You're like, oh, fuck yourselves.
Oh.
I'm in control.
No, that was me. That's what I would have done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like at that point, man, like you call run, and then you're like, but wait, don't actually run. How dare you run? It's like, dude.
I think it did get deeper, but he lies and claims he went through second puberty. I think he took vocal training. I'm calling tinfoil hat on that. I'm calling tinfoil hat. I get it. Like, the guy is not great, but like, I don't know anybody who, if you are not, listen, if you're crazy, go ahead and believe that. But if you want anybody to listen to that, listen to you, I wouldn't say it. I wouldn't win an argument on it. Where was it? There was some more. So after this, there's a lot of guild politics that happens after this, right? Soda Poppin is like in charge. He's the reason OnlyFangs exists. He is the founder of OnlyFangs, like the OG founder. From what I was gleaming, and he also weighed in on it.
Like, those two people did not need to die. Pirate absolutely could have saved them if he played his class to a basic level, which he knew he claims to know how to do. I've seen clips and I've heard it. He claims he knows how to do. He clearly could not in the panic, and then refused to accept any responsibility on that. That's it. That's all this is. Like, those.
And that is Soda Poppin's take on it, right?
For that shit. For that shit.
He is one of the guild's primary enchanters. However, we have like 10 primary guild enchanters. And what could argue?
So I should also say that, like, being a guild enchanter, there's like specific roles you fill. So there will be motherfuckers that they enchant other people's shit. Like, that's a thing that happens in WoW, right? So basically they put a buff on an item to make it better, right? But for those of you that don't understand, that was his role.
You that we have too many still. Nathan, Cobalt, Vey, him, there's more. I named 4, but I know there's more. Chat's gonna have to help me. There's a ton of Fizz. Oh yeah, Fizz can fucking do it. Hydra can do it. I know there's more too.
He's the guy that does.
There's like
the
probably
internal
10
buffs. For
really
Raiders.
300 enchanting, and all of them have Crusader. The only way I would like accept that as like a holy shit, my life is worth a lot, is if you had something like the Lionheart pattern, right? If Noth was playing his mage and was 60.
For that shit.
But yeah, there's been quite a lot of drama around this, and again, Pirate's behavior, like he's allowing himself to get like literally he's feeding the trolls, right? Pirate keeps banning people for like ridiculous things, right? He keeps like doing things on stream that are making it worse, right? Where it's like there was a screenshot of him getting like a whisper from somebody who was clearly like trolling, and it was reasonable to report them, right? But you do it on stream and it makes you look like a goofy bitch. Because you kind of got to have a little bit of tough skin if you're going to be like a streamer or a creator, right? But he ended up tweeting about it. He ended up having to address the Dire Maul allegations, chat. To those trying to character assassinate me online for a bad pull in Dire Maul WoW Hardcore, this is WoW Hardcore, and a lot is on the line when you step foot into a dungeon. He already said that they almost died before. I don't know why he stepped back foot in it. Okay. Here's a light breakdown of the last 24 hours. Our party went the wrong way and overpulled multiple packs with the boss. The shot caller made the call to run, then went back on that call. During the run, another pack was pulled, and we had opted to skip it previously, which is never a good thing. Communication was completely broken throughout this, and it was our second time failing the dungeon. Everyone played poorly, and 2 people ultimately lost their characters for it. Each person in this group made mistakes, including myself. I have never once said I was perfect, nor that I am a god gamer. Remember, this came after hours upon hours of him refusing to admit any fault on this, okay? I have never once said I was perfect in my play, nor that I was a god gamer. I'm just an ex-Blizzard employee that has played a mage for a long time. I'm sorry, I don't know what's... I know Blizzard couldn't litigate this, but I'm really tired of people using this. I'm tired of people using this. It's beginning to not mean anything, okay? To pin that on a single person is absurd at best. And if you okay, no. He's misrepresenting the criticism that was levied at him. The criticism was that yes, he was also at fault. Okay? And he didn't admit fault. Okay? That's what the criticism was. It wasn't that he was the only person who made a mistake. It's that he made a very obvious and selfish mistake. Okay? That was rude. That's what he did. Right? That's why people are annoyed, because he made a selfish decision that was the wrong choice. To pin that on a single person is absurd at best. And if you're calling for the death and cancellation over it, you're too invested in this content in a very unhealthy way. Now, again, another thing. This is a guild created to make content. Pirate doesn't like that he is the content in the thing that was designed to make content. Drama was always going to happen. It just so happened to be you, you know? If you're this is so all of everything he set up until like him saying like, oh, he's not a god gamer, blah blah blah, right? All of that is about to be thrown out the window as I read this next section to you. If you're a creator engaging in this kind of behavior, then eventually your content wave will end, but the relationships you've sullied will be permanent. Hope it was worth it for you. So he is saying here, and this is, let's say the quiet part out loud. If you are covering this drama or covering this on your streams, you will be blackballed for it and not allowed to participate in future events. Hope it was worth it for you. Yeah, I'm really sure, you know, Asmon and XQC and whoever the fuck has been interacting with this are really gonna be worried if they have like a contentious issue, okay? Yeah, Pirate Software. This is like literally Sephiroth posting, right? This is Sephiroth posting. To those trying to defend me, don't worry about it. This too shall pass. Dude, okay, how many times have I said this, chat? Where when you're talking about a controversy, don't like give kudos to your audience. How many times? I just said this with the Lewis McClung stuff. Do not attack anyone else on my behalf. I've always hated that kind of behavior. I have no intention of stop making things or doing the stuff as I already have been. To those who were banned, will say stay so. I've never liked that kind of knee-jerk reaction behavior in our community before, and I will not be changing that now. For those who don't understand why they will stay banned, we've had a 10-hour-long hate raid over on Twitch. We've had to ban nearly 4,000 accounts across all platforms, and our moderators receive death threats regularly throughout it all. Okay, listen, maybe I'm like an asshole, but like I've gotten death threats before. I mean, I've even gotten death threats that were credible, but like if some stranger on the internet is just being like, I'm gonna find you and blow your house up, I'm just gonna be like, okie dokie, buddy. Whatever you say. But like this, it's like, oh my god. I, a moderator of a large community, have had to deal with negative people. Yeah, it's like the job of a moderator to deal with negative people. Dude, a 10-hour-long hate raid? Shit, maybe they should be doing mythic raids. They tried to get me banned from Twitch, the guild, and WoW. What's your opinion on creators telling their fans to not attack people in their apology? It feels weird. I mean, I guess it really depends. I don't listen. You're your own people, okay? You're your own people. They tried to get me to ban from the Twitch, the guild. They tried to make disparaging comments about our ferret rescue or that we somehow hurt animals. They tried to spread rumors to say that I was convicted of felonies and many other things. So I will say this. This guy has history. He doesn't have felonies, but he will say that like the rumors are lies. That's what that sounds like. I'm also gonna circle back around to that Reddit thing in a second, right? Why is he so popular? He got popular for his comments about like video game and video game development. So a lot of people that were interested in video game development kind of gravitated towards him as like a bastion of like, oh, creative aspiration. Yes, especially on Shorts. Shorts blew up his channel. Shorts blew up his channel. We'll talk about his creative output in a little bit, but you know. The internet hate machine will not defeat me, nor the community that supports me. See you in WoW Hardcore tomorrow. Which, by the way, I think it's really funny that there have been hits made for Pirate in WoW, right? So if you don't know, it's a faction system in WoW, right? So if you're playing Horde, you're playing a certain set of characters. If you play Alliance, you play a certain set of characters, right? So if people are paying gold, which gold does have a transfer rate to real money, right? So people are paying gold in game to have his character killed. Okay, that's insane, right? That's actually something that used to happen in WoW a lot back in the day, but it doesn't happen anymore. So that's actually really interesting that people are trying to get him in the game. Which by the way, I think trying to get him killed in the game is completely fair game, right? That's part of the game. It's part of the experience. If you become a famous player in WoW and people put a hit on you, that's how the game is played. That's part of the game. That's part of the social experience. Oh, my God. See, but like if he's not max level and a max level Andy appears out of the sky and one-shots his troll, that's completely possible too. What factions Pirate play? Is he's Horde. He's Horde. He always plays Horde. Or at least when I've seen him play, it's been Horde. I do think Chud is being really ridiculous about a lot of this and being a bit over dramatic. What was his take on it? I haven't seen his take on it. I do think Pirate is being like an asshole. Bro's a furry Horde player and didn't go Tauren, Major L. Nobody likes playing Tauren. Nobody likes playing Tauren. Yeah, Chud hated him before this. Yeah, that I know.
Before.
All right. Pirate giving advice on a
before, which is if I blink immediately and then counterspell Magistrate Bartholus, we can kill him here.
Oh. Hold on. Pirate explains his POV of the situation. He's also reporting anyone who mentions the incident.
To elaborate on.
Hold on. Fuck, dude. Examining stuff through threads sucks. Chud knew about his past controversies. Okay. That explains it then.
And for all the content creators that were out there trying to cannibalize me to boost their numbers for a little while, that may work for now. But in the future, no one's going to want to do anything with you other than other people that also want to cannibalize you. You're going to surround yourself with assholes. That's going to be on you, bud.
This is Sephiroth posting, dude.
And for all the content creators that were out there trying to cannibalize me to boost their numbers for a little while, that may work for now. But in the future, no one's going to want to do anything with you other than other people that also want to cannibalize you. You're going to surround yourself with assholes.
This guy is literally Sephiroth posting in a wizard hat.
That's going to be on you, bud.
It's the internet. I don't think this matters that much, and you're acting like a crazy person.
Shitty for you, to be honest with you. And I feel bad for you. Straight up. So have your minute and have fun.
What a weird...
To elaborate on what's going on.
What a weird thing to say.
To elaborate on what's going on, I have no idea and feel lost.
Sure. A bunch of people were really pissed off that I played World of Warcraft Hardcore, and I was blamed entirely for a bad pull. Basically, the tank pulled 2 packs on a boss. We all played like dog shit. Going from there on, the druid butt pulled another pack on the way out. The call was made to run. I ran, and I ran further than other people wanted to, and then the call was made to not run. So I didn't run back in. And there was, at that point, it felt like there was no reason to run back in. At that point, I didn't really want to, and that's it. And it's spiraled out of control into this kind of like hate brigade all over the internet, where people have told us to kill ourselves. They've tried to get me banned in the game.
I'm sorry. I really can't muster up any sympathy for some stranger on the internet telling you to go drop dead. Okay, I don't... Do I think it's ridiculous that people are doing that for that reason? Yeah, but like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, the only reason it keeps getting worse is because you didn't go, my bad, and then drop it, okay? Like, again, like I said earlier, it's about mental with these, like, serious games, okay? So you want to not be doing this. Because you do this, you're going to set up the rest of the vibe, and it's going to make it shit.
They tried to get me banned on, like, Twitch. They've tried to get me banned.
Yeah, I agree on the part about Pyre being an asshole, but Chud is mentioning just petty things, like a lot of his weird shit, mentioning something about it. Yeah, like, I don't give a shit that Pirate is a furry, right? His disingenuous behavior is what I don't like. I'm not, like, obviously I'm not the most, like, honest person on earth, right? Nobody is, right? But there's, like, lots of things that he wasn't honest about that are really frustrating, right? He could just say, like, I don't think Pirate is any less of a person because his dad helped him get a job at Blizzard. I don't think it makes him, like, less of, right? There's nothing wrong with that. We all have backgrounds that help us, people that help or hurt us in our journey. That's a normal experience to things, right? I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I understand Nepo Baby is disparaging, but maybe we could use the red letter media term of legacy developer. Look into his Second Life era. Yeah, I know about it. I know about it.
And from the guild, and it's just kind of
and like the stuff about like him hiring the miner is like insane, right? I agree. I think that's nuts.
Disgusting, and I don't really give a shit about it. So at this point, we just have the mods banning everybody who's talking about it. Pretty much,
right? Like, see the perspective. I understand where Chud's coming from. My perspective, right, and the way I would do it. Like, let's say I was doing a video on Pirate Software, which I'm thinking about because I find it interesting. If I am writing a video on Pirate Software, the furry stuff is worth mentioning because it ties into things that are more prescient to the public, right? About like him hiring like a 16, 17-year-old on contract or something like that. I'm paraphrasing, so let's just not all take this as like this is the news. Right? Where they were like a commission worker, and then he let this commission worker go for not doing work, and then went to go meet up with this commission worker in person. And he was like in his 20s at the time, so that was weird, right? And the reason that's weird and that entire situation is weird is because he was making furry skins for Second Life, right? And that's fine. If you want to make furry skins for Second Life, you go get that bag. But then another thing is like, yes, Pirate doesn't want you to know about his furry past. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I have nothing disparaging to say about anybody being a furry. I don't care, right? But he clearly doesn't want people to know about it, which makes it strange. Shameful furry is like a gay Catholic. He has struck down videos talking about it. That's true, and I also know about him striking down videos for people talking about it too, right? I personally would take that risk if I was making the video, right? But like I said, if I were to make a video, it would be about what is bad behavior in that context of what he's done, right? And it would probably, like, you always got to think about it when you're making a video on someone. It's like, are you doing like an appeal to emotion thing or appeal to the facts thing, right? Or appeal to authority, right? So a lot of what I think is more important is Pirate's advice and ability to deliver. Heartbound has been in production for a very long time, and I think at a certain point, people should be willing to ask questions. When is Heartbound coming out? It seems like that time for release keeps getting pushed back, and it doesn't really seem like the kind of project that should be taking that long to develop. I could understand why it would be taking a long time to develop, because as a streamer, he's probably prioritizing what's making the money now over the game, even though that's what he got it out. Yeah, it's like one of those games. It's like perpetual development. Yeah, and it's an RPG maker RPG, right? So like an RPG maker RPG taking 12 years is kind of outrageous. For a lot of people to hear that is like, wow, an RPG maker game taking 12 years. But yeah, so it's like that kind of thing, I think would be more prescient to discuss, right? Yeah, and the striking down videos is definitely probably one of the biggest issues, in my opinion, because that makes a genuine issue, right? I know very little about game development, but I know that's crazy. Yeah, and he also people or him, somebody who's ever's on the Heartbound team, they'll get mad about you talking about how long it's being made, right? Which is an issue. And again, we've seen that before from different people in the past. We've seen it from Yandere Dev. Another developer who doesn't make and finish their projects is Grums. Grums doesn't fucking finish anything. Ember has been in development for a long fucking time, and is still not done. So it's like, whatever, right? Someone has said that he spent like a collective 15 minutes on stream coding a game. No, RPG Maker can make games, right? It can make games. It's a valid engine, okay? It's not just like a, you know, it is marketed as like a kids learn how to make a game. You can make an actual fucking game with RPG Maker, okay? Hylix was made with RPG Maker. There's a lot. There's a lot. Fear and Hunger is another one made in RPG Maker. Yep. Omori. Yep. But there's a lot. There's a lot. Corpse Party. Wasn't Lisa the Painful? Yume Nikki? Yep. Dude, I'm old. Holy shit. Remember when PewDiePie did like a playthrough of that? I don't have any game dev experience, but wouldn't it be smarter to just stay silent and keep working on the game if it's been in development for a long time? Yeah, but it's like a featured part of his brand, so that kind of puts him in a precarious position, right?
Anywhere, and we're just blocking everybody on Twitter who talk.
To elaborate.
that guy's name? Something invited you to join the channel Nothing Wrong. Somebody made a chat channel called Nothing Wrong and invited him to it. And he reported them for that. That is not report worthy. That is not report worthy. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh, they already ran. They have a group for Ubers? Really?
Yeah, that's what they said.
Oh, really?
And Zombat had to drop off a fiery enchant. Big Tex is here, so we're ready on this end.
Do they
We
have
need-
a group for Ubers? I don't see.
They said there's 2 other groups running already, which is probably why it's going to be difficult to get like a 3rd group running. Everybody's running Ubers now. Is the thing.
Really? I didn't
Yeah.
see anyone.
I'd be worried. I'd be worried about getting in a VC with him to run content.
The nightmare that I pulled Diamond indicated my whole group.
Yeah, that's a horrible nightmare. I would not want that.
That's it.
Dude, this guy this guy is 1 day away, dude.
Like 3 times in a row. I can't stop dreaming about it.
Don't worry. Bring a mage and they'll blame them instead. It won't be your fault.
The nightmare that.
Oh my god. Oh, about the ferrets thing, I saw, and maybe this is the problem with shorts, right? But there was like a short where he was talking about why they don't do a 501c3 for the ferrets, and why it's a business paid for entirely by his streams. He was explaining that creators start 501c3s and basically to launder money. And again, this was like a TikTok short that I saw where he was saying that. And that the reason he didn't want to do a 501c3 is that way it was just a way for creators to pocket money tax-free. But I was just thinking, what, are you fucking crazy? What do you mean? You're going to run a non-for-profit and then immediately pocket the money? It's like, no, that's something that only happens if you're like an asshole and then don't spend the money on the ferrets. A non-for-profit works because you're not making a profit. The money is going to the service that's being provided. Like... He's trying to... No, that's gay. That's gay. That's gay. You're cringe. You're cringe. You're cringe. No, that's stupid. That's stupid. Fuck you. Dumb chatter.
They pulled Diamond indicated my whole group.
I would never say that. No.
Yeah, that's a horrible nightmare.
It's blown out of proportion.
One guide. Yeah, definitely one guide. Definitely one guide. But... I know that this stream is bringing in other people that are just like, I'm a fucking pirate software hater. I don't know who this Diesel guy is from a hole in the wall.
Little self-reflection and attitude and tone would go a long way. I gave a shit about that at first, and I don't give a shit about it at all now. Like, at this point, we've gotten thousands of bans in the chat. We have bots hitting the chat. We have real people hitting the chat. We've received hundreds of death threats. We've gotten 2 swatting attempts so far. And I really don't give a shit how people feel at this point. And I feel like anyone else in my position would feel the same. So the people who are trying to do this for content, the ones that want to do this as a content play, which is quite a lot of streamers.
It's okay, we need the exposure. It gets tiring just talking with Mod Greg all the time.
I don't have any respect for them, and I never will.
I want to listen to that again.
It's blown out of proportion. Little self-reflection and attitude and tone would go a long way.
Dude, he hasn't like he hasn't tone policed himself. Excuse me. He hasn't tone policed himself the entire time for this drama.
Gave a shit about that at first, and I don't give a shit about it at all now. At this point, we've gotten thousands of bans in the chat. We have bots hitting the chat. We have real people hitting the chat. We've received hundreds of death threats. We've gotten 2 swatting attempts so far. And I really don't give a shit how people feel at this point. And I feel like anyone else in my position would feel the same. So the people who are trying to do this for content, the ones that want to do this as a content play, which is quite a lot of streamers, I don't have any respect for them. And I never...
I am on the receiving end of discourse on the internet. People are talking about me, even though I am now news. I don't have any respect for people who do that. That's always like the biggest red flag when it comes to like commentary coverage, right? Like motherfuckers like me or Labrix or like fucking Chud or whatever. Like we hear that from a guy and we're like, okay, this motherfucker wants to party. Okay, maybe we do. Maybe we do look, right? That's like inviting the energy, right? Saying, I don't care about the people who cover me is like inviting you to get covered, right? It's like that's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's trying to beat Kamiya's block record.
before, which is if I blink immediately and then counterspell Magistrate Bartholus, we can kill him here.
Oh,
what?
It is doable. I have done it before, but then you gotta kill him with the other mobs.
Yeah, it's like when Lewis said, "I have no skeletons in my closet." It's like the worst line you could say.
Does I open the gate or something?
Would you guys want to try that?
I mean, buffed out of my mind, so
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm fucking down. My AoE's fucking shit, so.
Yeah, I don't.
All right, what does it happen as soon as I open the gate?
Yes.
So you would count it down.
All right, opening up the gate in 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, if they get a call, they have to go. If you're a streamer, you need to get your house whitelisted, so that way the police will be like, they'll phone you and they'll be like, we gotta blah blah blah, and then they'll send a car over instead. And it just wastes like less taxpayer dollars.
Ready?
Forward. Yep.
Okay. Oh shit. Oh, I didn't make it. Yeah, you got it. Okay, but we got boss and the other mobs now as well now.
Yeah.
Focus all these small ads first and then kill the boss after, yeah? We got...
Ultimately, this specific part of the drama is such like a fucking nothing burger. Where it's like, oh, he was bad at WoW. Because like, who gives a shit? I really don't fucking care. And anybody who like actually is like, this pirate guy isn't that good at WoW. It's like, yeah, who cares? I really don't care. But there's a lot of definite disingenuous stuff that is, you could put something together for it, right? I think the crash out itself is funny, but I do think the legitimate things that are there are definitely getting weighed down by the nonsense. Like I like even today I'm seeing it with chat and I usually don't. So that's pretty fucking impressive. But Pirate has such a large audience, he could easily control the conversation. So the fact that he hasn't been able to control the conversation is pretty telling.
Against TOS? Against TOS? What is Against TOS is organizing hate raids on the platform, which is what a number of these other content creators have done live on stream while admitting that they're doing it specifically for content, that they're doing it so that they want to cause beef with me as a streamer so that they can get it for...
Is that what they said? Who's saying that, dude? Who's saying that? Who's saying that? Like, if I was still streaming to Twitch, I wouldn't be doing this to cause beef with him. I just find it interesting and his reaction's funny. Like, obviously, like, don't go to fucking Pirate Software and be like, you're stupid, but like I can't stop you.
Against TOS? What is it?
Like, who's organizing hate raids? Show me a streamer organizing hate raids.
Against TOS is organizing hate raids on the platform, which is what a number of these other content creators have done live on stream while admitting that they're...
There's like some guy sitting at the top of a podium in his Twitch stream, okay? He's got a red band around his arm and he's saying, guys, we must go and raid the Pirate Software.
Doing it specifically for content, that they're doing it so that they want...
I care more for years that this guy's been acting as some sort of bastion for indie development without producing a single indie game himself. He's just like Grums, but he didn't get political about it. Axis, you've basically summed up my take.
want to cause beef with me as a streamer so that they can get it for content in OnlyFangs, and how to position themselves to cause those types of arguments to happen. Since it was all done live on stream, we've reported that to Twitch.
So then you just reported somebody to Twitch for like for fucking talking about you.
That's it.
So you just reported creators to Twitch because they said something unfavorable about you for being disingenuous.
Right. You're not supposed to do that. It's against TOS.
Yes. That's also something I actually do care about, is his take on game preservation. Yes.
Don't be a piece of shit. Basic stuff, dude. Basic shit. And a lot of it was from a rogue that was bitching the entire time about every goddamn thing that was going on except for his own play. But the mage is the one at fault because the mage is the hero class and the mage has to do everything perfectly. Everyone in that played badly. The druid butt pulled an extra pack on the way out. The tank chose to take us into a bad route through the entirety of the dungeon.
So it's like, it's great that he's saying now it's everyone, but he's like framing it in a way where he's not the one to, like, it's not that he needs to say that I am the one solely at fault. He can just say, yes, I have fault to lay at my feet.
Pull 2 packs and the boss at the same time. I, as the mage, went into that fight with 40% mana, tried to use my resources, used them poorly, and got myself out when the call was made to run, which, by the way, was made by them as well. Everyone played badly. In fact, the only person who didn't was the healer. And I explained that in the Twitter post, but no one wants to hear that shit because they want it to be a double down, a triple down, a quadruple down. They want to have a villain. They want to have an enemy. They want to fight that shit into the ground. They want to send death threats to people over it because they're goddamn insane. Because this guild has turned into a content guild built on hate, not a...
You're all content creators and you're streaming WoW for content. It was always a content guild. You're not just playing WoW for the shits and giggles. Okay? You're playing WoW for the entertainment of the masses. Okay? That's not like a really complicated thing to put through your head. Why do you think you're streaming, dude?
They want to send death threats to people over it because they're goddamn insane. Because this guild has turned into a content guild built on hate, not a content guild built on experiences.
What? What does that even mean? Oh no, the wizard has enemies. Oh. What? I didn't like, I'm sorry, what?
But no one wants to hear that shit. Because they want it to be a double down, a triple down, a quadruple down. They want to have a villain. They want to have an enemy. They want to...
It's not even... It is because you keep... Were the other players not new to Classic WoW? Yeah, they were new to Classic WoW.
Fight that shit into the ground. They want to send death threats to people over it.
So the creators are sending death threats?
Because they're goddamn insane.
Because the creators of the guild are insane. Okay.
Some guy named Trevor celebrates 2 months of membership. Pirate Software.
Because this guild has turned into a content guild built on hate, not
a content guild built on hate is really, really insane. Holy shit.
Pirate would not survive EVE Online fights.
Dude, on EVE Online, somebody would be his friend for 5 years just to embezzle 30 grand in real world money away from him in-game.
Content guild built on experiences. Because they're freaking monsters, dude.
Because that is a really, really weird statement. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. I will get to the game preservation stuff. I will get there. That is so fucking weird. XQC hosts the roast of Pirate Software.
That's going to be on you, bud.
Chat, you guys, I don't know what that means, chat.
For all the content creators that were out there trying to cannibalize me.
The Hatsune Miku cosplay art is complete.
Let's be honest though. If the guy had a singular molecule of like humor in his body and accepted that he did bad they would do it to some like funny punishment. They would make him walk around the town and do like some weird like walk of shame or something like that and make it content. But the guy is so insecure about the whole thing and still doesn't want to he doesn't want to do anything out of this. He just wants to be a fuckhead. Nobody can do anything. People that are just reacting are getting documented. Like, what a fucking joke. Let's be honest though.
Jesus. Nick Diorio learned about Hatsune Miku the other day. It was really funny. Jesus. Oh my god. Let me go take a piss. I will be right back. I've noticed I usually piss like an hour and a half into stream.
You think you've got my number figured out? A motive born in drought and brevity. And if I'm not the soul of your design, I blatantly decline your remedy. Don't box me in, don't, or I'll leave. I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else than your machine. I wasn't always just a single shade, a palette full of gray in reverie. And I can burn it brighter than the sun. I have a golden gun inside of me. Don't box me in, don't, or I'll leave. I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else. And if I fall behind, ignoring all the signs, and if I lose the fight, I still rage against the I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else than your machine.
I am back. I am back. Yay. All right. Hold on, I'm reading this stuff about the games. Did you wash your hands? Yes, I washed. Dude, I can't go one day without people in my real life and my chat asking me if I wash my fucking hands. I go everywhere. You know how many men in public bathrooms aren't washing their hands? I'm not excusing my prior behavior of not hand washing, but but it's not like you fuckers walk around in public hand checking people who wash their hands or not, okay? Holy shit. All right. Throw in where Pirate Software lies about the Ross situation. The Stop Killing Games controversy, an initiative by Ross Scott that Pirate Software has actively lied about, then censored, doubled down over. Hold on. This is all posted in a. This was given to me, so let me see what this what the Stop Killing Games initiative would do. Required video games sold to customers to be in a reasonably working state at the time of shut-off end of support. Prohibit any requirements for video games sold to customers to connect to publisher or affiliated parties after support ends. Require the above to apply to video games that sell game assets or features, microtransactions to customers. What the initiative would not do is require publishers to give up intellectual property rights, require publishers to give up source code, require endless support, require publishers to host servers, require publishers to assume liability, interfere with business practices in any way while a game is still being supported. Okay. Yeah, that feels like a pretty tame but useful initiative. Yeah. And then Pirate responded to it.
Guy on the internet. It's going to keep happening. I'm not surprised, but to be real with you, I can't back that process. I can't. As written, the language is too vague. It doesn't solve the root issue, and it creates a litany of new issues. And that's a problem. That's the major issue for me. Yep. Yeah. What are we talking about? The Stop Killing Games initiative. Yeah. What is this? Thank God I've had a few of my own subs ask me to stop to promote Stop Killing Games, and it's hard to explain that it's the legal equivalent of using a nail bomb to take out a wasp's nest. That's exactly what it is, dude. That's
that explanation that I read was pretty fucking on ball. Does he address what the issues are?
the biggest issue. So for those who don't understand, the Stop Killing Games
bro's bringing out
is basically we don't want single player games to have DRM that the developers can turn off and thus render the single player games inactive anymore. This is what they want to change.
That is not what that was not it. They can have DRM while they're live, but then once the service is not in use, and also not single player games, but like if it's not being used and all the live service elements are gone, they're not gaining any income from it, so they turn it off. What? Like I don't understand. That was not what was laid out.
The way that they're going about it is using very vague language that makes it so that even live service games.
By the way, I also heard you get in trouble with him, with Pirate Software, if you mention like a video game that he has some association with as a live service game. Like you're not allowed to do that.
Could be caught in this net, which means every multiplayer game gets caught in the net. And they have to put in caveats such as allowing people to run private servers and so on and so forth after the game dies in order for them to even make it in the first place. Government-run initiative.
That was not that either. That's just wrong.
I can't back this, dude. I can't. It is too goddamn vague. And we'll go.
I know. Okay, hold on. There's Louis Rossman, who's a Right to Repairs guy, did some coverage on that.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope you're having a lovely day. I'm feeling really out of it over the past few weeks. I've just bitten off more than I can chew. So I'm going to be reading from notes as I do this video. I just didn't have it in me to like have all my points in my head like I usually do to have that kind of stream of consciousness video. So today what I wanted to do is I wanted to follow up on the video I did on Ross Scott and the campaign to stop killing games. For those of you who are not familiar with it, I did a video about 6 months ago on Ubisoft. There was an executive at Ubisoft that said people should become comfortable not owning games. You probably imagine what I think about this given my stances on right to repair and ownership. Anyway,
yeah, I think if you own a game, you should fucking own the game.
Then die. What do we do, argue with you? I'm not on the debate team. This isn't mock trial.
Bro didn't even look into how the initiative has mostly moved into Europe to accomplish its goals, and therefore doesn't need specific language because it will get ironed out by a committee before being out in law.
Well, there you go. Well said, and Axis, thank you for the 20.
On the reason that this pissed a lot of people off is because Ubisoft was a perfect example of why this is a problem. There's a game called The Crew. This game is playable online when you connect to a server, but it also has a campaign mode and has single-player modes that are considerably usable. They're viable. There are people out there that like the single-player mode, and after Ubisoft decided to shut down the server, this single-player mode was no longer able to work, and this aggravated a lot of people that paid for the game. This game was not advertised as a service. There are games that are advertised as a service, but this was advertised as a game that you purchased, that you bought and paid for. And again, the meaning of the word purchase in America used to mean something with regards to ownership. If I bought a game and I have a copy of the game, you know, I kind of figure like I can keep playing that game in single player mode without having to connect to your server. So this pissed a lot of people off, including Mr. Ross Scott, who decided to try and push an initiative called Stop Killing Games. And you can read about that over here. You can read all the specifics of it. This is an EU initiative here. This is not a bill. This is not even a draft bill or a law. This is the EU's version of we've written down something on a napkin for consideration. Let's see if we can turn it into something later. Now, there's a person who really dug into this with a lot of criticism, and he's quite popular on YouTube, Mr. Pirate Software.
I'm so glad now that like Apple's gonna have to move over to USB Type-C. Like that is, I am so glad for that, right? Like the whole proprietary plugs thing was so fucking pointless. Like that was only there for that specific reason.
Over here, his name is Thor, and from 10 hours and 24 minutes to 10 hours and 41 minutes in this particular video, he goes over everything that he believes is functionally wrong and useless with this campaign from the perspective of a video game developer. And a lot of people have been just shitting on him in the comments relentlessly, and I've had a lot of people email me shitting on him as well, and I don't think that that's really appropriate. I want to explain why. There was a class that I took recently where he had to go over some literature and some kind of poems and stuff like that. And I chose this one poem by Emmanuel Xavier. The work that I discussed really didn't consider any of the reasons that these problems occur. They didn't consider any of the shades of gray, any of the reasons that people may come to these decisions. It's just like you either agree with this or you're unreasonable. And I don't really like that. It's one thing to be bombastic when you're discussing something that aggravates you like I am in these videos, but when you are talking about legislation, you really do.
You guys remember when Apple had the like, you know, on like the iPod, it had like that big wide plug at the end where it was like huge and you had to like clamp it inward to get it to stick?
Dig into the details, and you have to understand why things are the way they are before you try to go about changing the world. And when
I want my phone and vape to have the same charger, real.
Discussing legislation about whether it's John Deere or wheelchair stuff or right to repair in my field, I really do try to engage with the other party and try to figure out what their concerns are. What bothers me when it comes to stuff like Apple is they won't tell me what their real concerns are. They have this copy-pasted nonsense from lobbyists that is just, in my opinion, made up bullshit. But here you're actually hearing the criticisms from the perspective of a video game developer that's, whether you like it or not, is actually trying to engage in good faith. So just randomly shitting on this guy, I really think that that's a crappy thing to do, and I don't think it's appropriate. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to try and go through his criticisms, give some of my opinion on it, try to figure out how this could manifest in the real world, and then just go over some of my thoughts on it. So if I'm understanding it right, and feel free to correct me if I'm not.
There's probably not another guy that has more expertise on consumer like ownerships and rights of consumers when it comes to the purchasing of technology than Lewis. Like hands down. Like this guy will talk to legislators and like people, right, that are important to getting these things passed in like Congress and stuff like that. His experience is nothing. No, listen, you gotta engage with these things on a level where somebody's gonna want to listen to you. You know, like. Added that to my watch later.
He believes that the initiative is too vague and it needs to be specific to single-player games that don't require a server for support. He's arguing that this would burden video game developers, so you would have to design games with this initiative in mind, that they are going to have to be playable even when the manufacturer, I'm so used to dealing with right to repair, when the publisher and developers turn off the server. The third is that there's some code that cannot be provided to customers because you can have licensing agreements on particular code where it's only available to the game developer, but they're not licensing the ability to give it to you. He feels that politicians don't understand video gaming and they're going to mess it up, and yeah, I understand that one. Whether it's politicians or industry lobbyists, they are kind of clueless, and I'll give you some examples later. And he states that retroactively applying this to all games would be a disaster. The law should, the law should not be retroactive. This is reasonable. To just completely shit on this guy, in my opinion, is not the way to get things done. You're also not going to get buy-in for people in the industry. And even if people in the industry don't particularly agree with you, you would rather at least kind of try and meet them in some way where instead they'll say, listen, I don't like this, versus I will dedicate my life to ensuring that this doesn't pass. Initiatives, they're not draft bills. So in the United States, like we'll have an idea, you'll have a draft bill. With right to repair, there are bills from 2015 that were not passed until 2022 or 2023. There's literally 6 to 8 years of amendments that will go on before anything is passed, and that often requires input from all of the parties that will be affected by it. This over here is not even a draft bill. This is an initiative. So this is like going to McDonald's and...
So, yeah, and like Axis had said, like, initiatives can have vague language because the committee will sit down and it'll iron out the kinks and get to more specific things, right? And you'll see a lot of these consumer rights things happen in Europe first, if you haven't noticed, guys. And then it'll happen here.
I don't have a pen. I'm going to use ketchup on a napkin to draft out an idea. So I can understand why somebody would be concerned, but it's essentially written on a napkin. A lot of this stuff is stuff that will be changed with time. Even if the stakeholders of this don't want it changed, it's going to get changed with time. This is written on a napkin. There's no real genuine legalese here. He does quote from different articles, and we're going to go over some of those articles later. But again, this is not a law. Secondly, this initiative is not going to require games to be updated retroactively. When a right to repair bill passes, they don't have to go back through all their hardware from 1990.
There, I'll lower the rate of the stream. Byproduct of living in the middle of nowhere. It's also snowing right now, so if the stream drops like magically, it means my power went out. So just FYI.
23 and make parts and schematics and diagrams available, because that would be fairly unreasonable. What it usually means is not only does it not apply retroactively, it also applies in the future. So a bill that's passed in 2022 may say in it, this does not apply to anything created before May of 2024. So not only are they not going to require that this particular piece of legislation apply retroactively to everything, it also usually doesn't even apply until a date far into the future. The EU may do things a little bit differently, but from what I've seen, they have a date into the future, even in the EU, as to when it is they are going to apply. So I could completely understand a video game developer saying, do I really have to go back and patch code from 2004 for this? The amount of resources that may take a smaller studio or a smaller developer, that really is the type of thing that would be burdensome on them. It would be burdensome on a large company, but they pay for it, whereas a small company...
So it kind of sounds like Thor engaged with the conversation without learning what the side's opinions are, or what their initiative was. It actually sounds like he didn't sit down to listen to them. Oh my god.
I can imagine them going bankrupt over it. That's not going to apply in that case. Now, when it comes to live service gaming, there is this thing with advertising. If you're advertising a game as $5 a month, you are paying for this game as a service. You're paying $5 a month for the game. It runs on our server. We can shut this down at a given point in time, and once we shut it down, we will no longer charge you money. That's an honest transaction right there. And even if I don't like that model very much, I can respect the truth in advertising that exists here. The problem that I have is with a different type of live service game, where it is not sold as a live service.
Yeah, or I've had experiences where I buy a single player game, but I can't access it because games for Windows Live doesn't fucking exist anymore. So I have to get a pirated copy of the game to play it, okay? It mostly happens in the EU first, because the moment 3 nations enact the same law, it applies to all nations in the EU unless it's rejected by the nation. But what is it? Fable 2 or Fable 3? One of the Fables I can't play on my PC because it has games for Windows Live attached to it. And there's other games that like fucking LA Noire is definitely going to become obsolete soon, because it requires all these weird programs that aren't used anymore.
Service game.
And it's I paid full price for that. Why the fuck can't I play it?
It is sold as a game that you purchase. Something like The Crew, from what I see, and to be clear, I'm kind of ignorant here because I'm not really into the whole live service.
And also, by the way, The Crew can totally be accessible offline. I understand, it was made, you can play that game completely single player. You play matches against NPCs, not people, all the time. All right.
This game thing, it doesn't look like this was sold as a live service game. It was sold in a manner where I, as a consumer who's not really hyper into the modern gaming community, would imagine that what I was purchasing was a game that I can continue to play.
Very interesting that his name is Pirate Software, but it doesn't seem like he is very pro-piracy.
A single player without ever having to think about Ubisoft shutting down something into the future. If I bought that game, I would expect that I could continue playing it. So for me, it's not even necessarily about single player versus multiplayer. It's about how it was sold. If you sold the game as a purchase, that's different than you selling a leased service where
this is what worries me about all these Sony purchases that I've been making on like Steam, they require like a Sony network account to use. But like, what if they change to something else in the future and then I lose access to those games? Like some of these games cost $70. Like, who's to say in the future they won't change up whatever service it's associated with? I was honestly worried about the Switch 2 coming out because I was like, oh, is my digital library going to be accessible on the Switch 2? Or will I need to rebuy the games that I bought on the Switch 1 on the Switch 2?
$5 a month. I know at the end of the month I have to pay. If I don't pay at the end of the month, I don't get the game. And if you shut down the server, which you're allowed to do at any given time, I will not be billed anymore. There's a difference in the honesty there. And I think a lot of the problem that consumers have is not necessarily the concept of live service games versus games that are fully local. I think the problem that a lot of consumers have is the complete lack of honesty in the way that this is sold, which is something that it does need to be addressed. When it comes to licensing agreement, there's certain software that Thor mentioned that he may not even have a license to allow you to have. The license that he gets from whoever he's getting the code from or the rights, I told you guys I was out of it. The rights to the trademarks for. This may be a license that he has as a dev, or he has, but he can't give that to you. So again, I'm just going to pull an example out of my ass here. Let's say
Steam, I understand that, like, I understand Steam as like a service can ban me at any time, but like there needs to be some way that we navigate the library associated with it. If I can't like access the straight, just refresh. Right? But like if I can't access, like I own those games. You're telling me the second that my Steam account gets banned, I can't play those games? Like that's insane. Like, okay, let's say I can't access the store. I can't access social features. I can't go online. I can't play with friends. But I can download the games that are attached to that. You know, like what? I should preemptively prepare just in case my fucking Steam account gets banned by downloading all thousands of my games in my library. This is how things are at the moment. You own a license to run a game. It's attached to your account, no games. Yeah, but I shouldn't have a revocable license. I've bought that piece of software. I should own that piece of software. It shouldn't be like a license that exists in perpetuity unless somebody feels like being a dick that day. That's the problem.
you have a racing game, I don't know, like something like The Crew. I'm not saying that this game is done this way. I'm just trying to give you a hypothetical analogy. Let's say you have a game like this, and let's say that the physics for the car driving was not developed by Ubisoft. They got that code from somewhere else. That code may be code that they have a license to use.
Like this is something that's happened as like a as a book reader, okay? Right? Kindle, Amazon, and this is part of why I left Amazon, right? It would be nice, but this is an ask your senator kind of thing, unlikely to change. Yeah, but I could complain about it on the internet as is my God-given right as an American. But like, yeah, I could complain about it. I think this is an issue that more people should know about it. Yeah, go fucking talk to your senator, chat. Sorry, as a streamer, I'm not doing enough right now. I'm sorry. Let me go call them up right now. But for the Kindle thing, I'd buy a book from Kindle, right? And then I learned that they have the right to update the prose in my book. And I was like, I don't want you to update the prose in the books I read. Imagine if some stranger came into my house and changed the words in my copy of Dune. Okay? And by the way, it all started because the nice cover of Dune that I had on my Kindle got changed with a picture of Timothée Chalamet. You know? And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? There's a way to get... Yeah, and the thing is I have gotten copies, right? I have gotten... Now, Amazon also has proprietary, like, code for their digital copies of books, okay? I went and I had all the DRM taken off of the books I own, right? So I had to download a separate program to take all the DRM off my books and then re-upload my books to my Kobo e-reader, which allows for DRM-free reading. Okay? Like, I can't even begin to tell you how amazing that experience is. But Jesus Christ, the fact that I had to do it. Now, also, there's a great way for you to get books online, but that's bad. And I've never done it. Sometimes I'll do it. I've done it sometimes. I'll say it. Let's be real. We all do it. Listen, I know Neil Gaiman is canceled, and he's a bad guy. Okay? But American Gods is a really good book. Okay? It's a good book. All right? It is a good book. It is interesting prose. Sandman, fantastic. Neil Gaiman, bad. Good Omens, really good. I love Good Omens. I still need to find a totally legal source of Yar Har Haring that won't give my laptop. Well, you know, I'm not saying that there are places on Reddit, but there's a place on Reddit that may have a thread that describes those things. And that may help those of you that are struggling financially in these times.
For a certain period of time, but that may be code that they're not allowed to give you a license for permanently. So let's say they have a license for have that code for about 5 years. And let's
Oh, yippee, thanks so much for not giving me advice.
This also applies to something like a logo in a car. Let's say they have a Ferrari in there and they have a specific car, but they have to license the ability to have that within their game, to use their trademarks. That license may be for 5 years. Now, if that license ends, if they stop paying after 5 years, that means that you can't have access to it either, because they only paid for a temporary license. But you have that game which you purchased, which means they need a way to disable access to you. Now, the problem that I would have in that case is that they should advertise that this game is not going to work in 5 years because of a license that we have on the code, or a license that we have on the logos, a license we have on the material in that game. That's never really put out there. Now, one of the arguments to be made here is that the manufacturer of the game, the developer of the game, may want to renew that license after 5 years if the game is still doing well.
Like, you got to understand that a lot of what got him into this. So let me frame this to you. Farmers work hard jobs on the field, and they become skilled laborers in fixing their tools. So farmers learn how to fix a tractor. The John Deere company does not want you to fix your tractor. What they want is for you to get your tractor serviced by John Deere and nothing else. And you'd be fucked over if you tried to service the truck yourself because of the software associated with the tractor. Right? So the tractor software would act as DRM that would stop you, the consumer, from working on your tractor. And you would have to have John Deere work on your tractor. You couldn't have somebody else work on your tractor. Right? Imagine buying a car and then you not being able to change your oil or fix your tire because the company says you must fix it at a pre-approved tire fixing station.
So if the game is not doing well, they shut off the server. But if the game is selling like hotcakes, they may decide that they want to renew that license. So they don't really want to pigeonhole themselves into a box by putting in the advertising materials, this game will not work on this date in 2028. Because if the game is still selling, they may want to continue having it work. And I understand that idea that the manufacturer wants to have that freedom into the future. However, so do the people who bought the fucking game. If I bought this game, I don't really care about your licensing agreements for the code. I don't care about your licensing agreements for any of this stuff, because back in the day, we didn't have to care. When you bought a game like Gran Turismo 2 on your PlayStation 1, you didn't have to worry about any of this. And there was no worry about licensing. All the cars in that game, a lot of them were real cars. Whatever licensing they worked out with any of the manufacturers of those cars, whatever license it was a license where I could continue to play Gran Turismo 2 today in my PlayStation 1. Either A, the code they used for the physics, I don't know what they did. Either A, they bought a right to use the code and to have you to have a lifetime ability to use that code in that particular game, or B, they wrote the code for that themselves. Whatever it is, somehow, some way, back in the day, this was not an issue. And if the issue right now is that the licensing agreements for code or the licensing agreements for trademark, copyright, anything going into the game are such that you literally have to disable the game.
Like, I can't imagine how Thor would be able to get people over on his side with this, right? Because, like, I just want, like, let's phrase it like if you're a gamer in chat. Let's say you buy a single-player RPG, right? And its only connection to the internet is like a Dark Souls-like message system where players can leave messages. So the game needs to ping a server to get those messages in your game. Now, one day, 10 years from now, the game server shut down. And because it was attached to the server and you had that messages feature, you can no longer play the game. That was only single player, but had a messages feature that would connect to the internet and tell you what the other players were doing. Okay? Like, and then the developer or publisher would say, no, you can't play it anymore. Server's down. Right? Like, literally, it's like you bought something for $60 and now you finally have time to play it 10 years later, which is insane. But, like, I'm playing games from when I was, like, a kid now as, like, an adult. I can't imagine not being able to play them, you know?
Even if it is capable of being...
Or like a day one release and the servers are down. That's a great example. Yeah. So nobody can get on and play it.
Run locally in single player mode. A law like this would throw a wrench into the works. Yet
yeah, internet requirements for single player games are used to stop pirating. Okay, then make sure that I can access the fucking game. And then if it's like 10 years in the future and you're shutting down that server, you need to allow me to access the game without accessing the internet. And then if you're not going to make that happen, you shouldn't. First of all, here's another thing. Some companies have still listed games that are completely inaccessible on Steam. That's happened before, which is insane. Okay? That's happened. I can't even believe that how that's happened. Okay? But it's like fucking at that rate that I'm just going to pirate the game.
I would argue that that's a wrench that needs to be thrown at some point in time. Because if the people licensing this code, or if the people licensing these...
Or like, I can only play... like, Nintendo's really litigious about that sort of thing. I can only play old Pokemon games on, like, the hardware. But I haven't had access to that hardware in years, and it's exorbitantly expensive now. So emulation is the only way I could run it. I used to own a copy many years ago. I was a child then. But now the only way I can play it is by going to fucking get a fucking ROM.
Trademarks are doing it in such a way that they're literally handcuffing the developers to the point where they couldn't even give you a server binary if you wanted it. That's a serious problem. Because this is something that I've really thought about for a while. You know, why not just give the users the server binary? Well, they may literally not legally be allowed. The developers may be handcuffed as a result of their arrangements with the people that they license the code or the trademarks or the copyright for whatever's in the game from. And if that's the case, if a law like this were passed, I imagine that would be kind of I hope, to be clear, I'm not going to say it would be, I hope that would be a negotiating stick for the developers and the publishers to say to the people that they're licensing the stuff from, hey man, these licensing agreements don't work anymore. I can't sell my game to hundreds of millions of people. I can't even offer this to them if you're going to do this. And at that point, I imagine that it would result in some sort of different negotiating style. Now, let's go down the whole rabbit hole of server binaries. One of the things that I would think, as somebody who's ignorant of all this, is if the game requires a server to run, why not just give them an EXE? I would think you should just give me the EXE for the server binary.
Video on this was, because I know he had a video on it. Well, let me pull it up. Is this the video? Yeah, I'm gonna guess this is. Wow. Unless that was Thor's
how's
video.
It going? Hope you're having a lovely day. I'm feeling really out of it over the.
That had to have been. That had to have been his video. That was the Stop Killing Games video, 100%. Oh, he literally put out a video a day ago.
Hello, this is me from the past. It's easier to report on the news when you already know what's going to happen. Straight to the point, the UK petition to stop publishers from destroying video games has reopened. If you are a UK citizen or resident, go ahead and sign it. There's a link in the description below. Now, if that's all you need to hear, great. You can skip the rest of this. You're done. For everyone else, I have context and details and what to expect.
Wow.
As a recap...
Okay. Shit. I wasn't expecting that. Hold on. Let's type in Stop Killing Games. Just FYI, I subbed to Ross on my main channel. Here we go. 5 months ago. We'll start with that because I think the drama is about 5 months old. But Europeans can save games, the short version. Is there a specific good one? Is there anybody that is very well versed in this that I should be like, listen, if you want to understand what's going on, watch this one? Because I want to hear Ross's points from Ross, because I'm assuming that if I'm being charitable, that is where Thor got it from. But I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say Thor didn't even look into it.
Hi, I'm Ross. For the past several months, I've been working on a campaign to stop the destruction of video games. See, most video games work indefinitely, and yeah, that's pretty much it. But more and more,
Ross is like this old version of a nerd that just doesn't exist anymore. This is the video.
are being designed to stop working the second support ends from the publisher. A kill switch, essentially. It's a form of planned obsolescence, where publishers are destroying games they've already sold to you, but keeping your money. And this is all preventable. Some people don't understand that. I've compared this before to studios from a century ago burning their own films after they were done showing them to recover the silver content. And now most films of that era are gone forever. That's very similar to what's happening to video games today. It's just a terrible practice for everyone involved.
Dude,
Now,
Gundam Evolution was fucking great. I enjoyed playing Gundam Evolution, but that was never gonna work because it was a fucking hero shooter, but also Gundam, which is not like that. And there were bot matches too, so I don't know why I can't go in and play Gundam Evolution bot matches. Okay.
Video games today.
What was another one? There was like this weird MMO where you would pilot like it wasn't Anno Online. There was like this voxel based Minecraft MMO thing where you would fly ships. And I used to play with my friends when I was a kid, and I can't play it anymore because it's gone.
It's just a terrible.
I support breast cancer research is gone. Spellbreak was another great one. I understand why that one wouldn't work because it was a battle royale, but it was great, and you can't play that anymore either. God, there's a lot. It's 117 on that page.
Terrible practice for everyone involved. Now, most of my efforts have gone towards challenging the legality of this practice in various countries because it's so consumer hostile, it's not clear if what's going on is even legal. That's still ongoing, but now we have a new option, proposing new law, and for the entire European Union. It took months to get put together and processed, but now we have a European Citizens Initiative devoted to halting the destruction of video games. You can read it yourself. This would require publishers to leave games they have sold to customers in a working state at
Real gamers play Barbie Secret Agent 2001.
the time of shutdown, without requiring any further connection to them or affiliated parties for the games to function. How they would do this would be up to them. This would also apply to free-to-play.
Would the initiative require games to be... Okay, so wait a second. Thor just didn't do his research. He didn't read into it at all. He just pulled an opinion out of his ass. Require video games sold to be reasonable, blah, 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 to end the shutdown, prohibit any requirements for video games sold to customers connected to publishers. Okay, yeah. Require the above to also apply to video games that sell assets or features. Yeah, he literally, yeah, Thor knew he intentionally told lies about it. Yeah. This is antithetical to his games like Rivals of Aether. Yeah.
Games that contain microtransactions. Because if you purchased a microtransaction as a good, then the game is made unplayable. Well, then you just lost.
Well, then there we go. Like that, I don't even need to look at the rest of the video to know that Thor is wrong. Like that's it. That's all I needed to read to know that Thor's wrong. So Ross ended up responding to Thor's comment, right? And I'll read it out. This got deleted, and Ross got blocked. He said, "Hi, this is Ross, the guy in the video you responded to at 10 hours and 24. Based on your response, I think there's a combination of values clash and there's a misunderstanding of what we're asking for. For example, WoW would likely be exempt from this measure since it's considered under law to be a true service. In other words, the customer is told explicitly when their access ends at the time of payment. Most live service games do not do this, which could run afoul of EU law. There were many misunderstandings in your video. If you clearly hate the initiative, and I doubt I would change that, but I would encourage you to at least hate it for what it accurately is. We obviously have very different perceptions of the likely outcome of this. I think those details influence that. That said, we also have a values clash. You state repeatedly that a game belongs permanently disabled is not a problem, and that this is where we very clearly disagree. Dude, Ross is actually a very well-read man, by the way. Like I really respect Ross. I know he reviews like games, but I do like hearing his opinions on games because he's very well read. He's a little goofy, a little weird, but like and like that I'm a bit of a smart nerd kind of way. You're actually the most high profile person I know to be admittedly against what we're doing. If you're interested, I would be fine with having a discussion with you on this wherever we could at least clarify things, but that's your choice. Yeah, it was also a very well put together, like a nice statement. Obviously it's critical, but he's clapping back and he's being professional about it. But yeah, it's just like Thor's just wrong. All right. I'm aware of the process for the initiative to be turned into legislator much farther down the line after many edits. If people want me to back it, then the technical and monetary hurdles of applying the request need to be included in the conversation. As written, this initiative would put massive undue burden on developers both in the AAA and indie to the extent of killing off live service games. It's entirely too vague what the problem is and currently opens a conversation that causes more problems instead of he just didn't listen at all again. If we want to hit the niche and terrible business practice of incorrectly advertising live services or always online single player games, only games, then call that out directly. Not just video games as in the initiative. Specifically call out the practice we want to shut down. Yeah, no, this is listen. So Pirate Software has a relation to Rivals of Aether. Did he work on that, or is he the publisher for that? What is the connection there? I know there was a connection. Makari, you're in the chat, correct? He's the publisher with Ludwig. Okay, yeah. So of course he wouldn't support this. He is the opposition. Of course he wouldn't support this. He's the opposition. I mean, that makes sense politically why he wouldn't support this, right? But he off-brand published it, and Rivals of Aether is a live service game. Yeah, but then also discussing that it is live service has been an issue, and he Thor doesn't like it when you say that. Like, it's very clearly a live service game. If you mention it on their Steam, if you mention that on their Steam page, they ban you. That's really cringe. I just won't. What is that game free? Because I'm not gonna buy it if that's the case. I don't want to touch anything published by that. I understand other companies feel like that. Screenshot of that in the thread. Thank you. Responding to someone, the movement is not discussing Ross's reasons for why it would pass in a government are. You can't form an initiative, want it to work into legislation, then shit on politicians saying it'll pass easily because politicians like easy wins or don't care about video games, and that this is a great diversion from a more serious topic. That's an awful route to take and just showcases how dangerously the current vague wording is. You can see them clearly laid out here. Politicians love easy wins. What do you mean? What do you mean? They say the quiet part out loud. That quiet part out loud happens all the time. That's not disparaging to politicians. Politicians are aware of how the sausage is made. We all work a job, motherfucker. Also, I like how he's talking about it as if this is an American thing. You know what I mean? He's talking about it like it's an American thing. But it's not. Right now, it's not. Ross said it would pass in the EU because they like easy wins in the video. Well, I'm not a European Union citizen or familiar with the governance. Is that a reasonable statement? Europeans up at an unreasonable hour? All right. This is going to require some focus. Responding to Pirate Software, I actually wasn't planning to write you further since you said you don't want to talk with me about it, and I'd still respect that if you'd like. But since you brought it up, and I'll set it again, I'll give you my side, and I'll leave you alone. I'm 100% cynical. I can't turn it off. I wasn't trying to appeal to legislators when I said that. I doubt they'll even watch my video. I was trying to appeal to people who are kind of doomer and think this is hopeless from the get-go. I wanted to lay out the landscape as I view it could actually work, where many initiatives have failed. Did it backfire more than inspire people? I have no idea. I've said before, I don't think I'm the ideal person to lead this. Stuff like this is part of why I say that. I can't just go Pollyanna on people and pretend like there aren't huge obstacles and that these things are normally rough odds. So that was meant as inspirational. You clearly weren't a target audience, but you're in complete opposition to the movement also. I am literally not part of the initiative in any official capacity. I won't be the one talking to officials in Brussels if this passes. The ECI would completely distance itself from me if it was necessary. In my eyes, what I'm doing there was the equivalent of forecasting the weather. You think it's manipulation, but I don't control the weather. I can choose when I fly a kite based on my forecast, however. Dude, this guy is really, really well-spoken. This guy has read his rhetoric, okay? Like, Plato, spit your shit. It was also kind of a half joke on the absurdity of the system, wherein that I consider these critical factors that determine our success or not. So yes, I meant what I said, but I also acknowledge it's kind of ludicrous that these are perhaps highly relevant factors towards getting anything done in democracy. Anyway, I got the impression this whole issue was kind of thrust upon you by your fans. You clearly hate the initiative. So as far as I'm concerned, people should stop bothering about it since you don't like it. Fuck, you're way too nice. You're way too nice. God damn. God damn. Yeah, he doesn't really deserve a nice response after all this. All right, this is translated. Did you guys know that Jason's also the co-owner of the publishing company named Offbrand, which is really funny, is going to publish Rivals of Aether 2, which is a live service multiplayer game. Makes sense now, doesn't it? Banned for harassment and misinformation. Is Jason not in the publishing company? Is he a co-owner of Offbrand? Is that where the misinformation comes from? None of that was harassing at all. None of it was harassing, so it must be misinformation. So I must be able to access Rivals of Aether too, offline. I know we're as like Mana Potion Tabletop is like gonna do like we have like obviously like the Western book that I want to put out. Let me just clarify. anything that we do is not going to have DRM on it. I know it's tabletop, and that's different and whatever, but like, I have no intentions of doing that ever. I had been talking with the ladies. I had been writing something about, I'm not going to say what, but I've been writing something, and that also won't have DRM on it. That thing that I am not talking about. There's also like the more sussy stuff surrounding Ross. Diesel leaking to Western ERP DRM free. I see. No, it's something else entirely. But I had discussed it with my brother. We would never do something with DRM on it. So, yeah, I think Thor is definitely in a minority opinion there. That is definitely just you'll never win anybody over taking the side of corporate America. Nobody likes you. Nobody likes you when you're corporate America. You're truly a business owner for the people, Poppy. No, I'm a business owner because I want to make money. Let me be clear. Thor triples down saying hundreds of devs agree as well. Dude, tons of these guys are gamers too. I'm sure they'd be down with it. You know, it's not a hegemony, right? Like, I've always got that. I don't think I mean, I don't know. Do you call like somebody who's like basically a Nepo baby an industry plant? Like, is an industry plant mean that he was like built like they gave him a platform? I'll tell you why Pirate Software got popular. He hit the algorithm right as shorts were popping off. Okay. That's not a disparaging comment either. I think that was really good for him. And I think that's a great content strategy if you're a creator who wants to do it. But that's why he's successful. Yeah, he's pretty big on TikTok. He capitalized on the shorts and TikTok's trend. And he was rewarded for doing that. I don't think that's an industry plant if we're talking about creator space. But if we're talking about the development space, that's a different story. Queso too, for sure. I think Queso's just really funny. I mean, I think he's funny. Some of you might disagree, right? But I've also heard the same thing levied at Kai Cenat and Speed, and I think they're both just as deserving of the positions they're in, right? It's like you hit the right thing at the right time. I think Queso is the best out of the people I've just mentioned right now. I don't really watch Kai. Speed is funny. I saw did you guys see the clip? There's a clip of Speed having cocaine thrown on him when he visited Colombia. I'll just play that. I'm sorry. Let me just play that.
Pero ábranse, ábranse.
What the fuck is this? What the fuck, nigga? What the fuck? Is this coke? Is this coke? Is this coke? What is it? Is this cocaine? No,
Is it cocaine? Imagine being in Colombia, somebody throws coke on you, and everybody's like, yeah! Like, what are you gonna do? Or, there's the clip of Speed, there's a clip of Speed where he's, like, jumping. Hold on, the desk clip. I show meat. That was an embarrassing moment for him, for sure. Damn it, where the fuck is the... Hi, Pookie. Hello, Pookie. There we go. Speed jumps into his setup. There we go. I found it. Derek!
Are you okay? What are you doing?
Dude, he's like a cartoon character.
Darren! Are you okay? What are you doing? Darren!
The funny part, his girlfriend is like so fucking normal too. It's so funny. I can't believe stream sniping Diesel. Well, I'm like, you know, cool like that. I don't know what to tell you. Fauci is chair reacting you right now. What's the difference between like that and regular reacting? You know what? You know what? You guys want Fauci to stream snipe so bad. I'll just send you over to Fauci. Goodbye. You know what? You want a Hassan so bad? Here, you can have him.